Hey guys, welcome to another Raid Shadow Legends video. And today we're going to cover an arena team. This is one that's been covered quite a few times before, but I feel this really needs a spotlight. It's such a cool team, so fun to play with, and that is the Cardinal Platinum team. It works against higher end teams, that's why I call it the Platinum team. And yeah, I'm going to go into a fairly in-depth video on this one. It's been covered by like Murder Inc. There's been covered by loads of other people before, back in the past. And I know Murder Inc. did a video recently on a different strategy because with the release of Lydia kind of screwed up Cardinal's strategy a little bit, but using someone like a Traxa or something can kind of get around that. So that'll be one of the elements we'll go into today. But what we'll do is we'll just jump into a battle here. Now, I think most people thought that the Cardinal strategy was mainly for nuke hedgy teams. That's originally kind of what it was invented for, and it's a very good counter to nuke hedgy teams, but the meta is kind of shifting and a lot of people are now using CC hedges. So like any good multiplayer game, the metas do shift a lot, but what I'm going to show you is this team is not just for nuke hedges. This team is so good for loads of other strategies. I'd like to also give a shout out to Zombie Lord and Rad in my clan, who I kind of chatted to a fair bit about this, and Zombie Lord gave me a few tips on various champions to use for this strat, so that's really cool of him. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and jump into this first battle against this team at the top here. So we're looking at a pretty solid team, obviously level 100, one of the top players. This is your kind of solid nuke team. This isn't anything to do with nuke edges, so this is Arbiter, Lysandra into Madame, Strip, and then destroy you with Trunda. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be using Seeker here, and I'm going to be using Kytis as my nuke. We'll go into all these champions in a sec, and I will just show you how the strategy works. So here we come in, we're going to get blasted right away, we're going to get stripped. And then we're going to take all the damage, and then boom, the last one alive is Cardinal. So Cardinal then revives all dead allies, heals them by 25%, and boosts their turn meter to max. So revive them all. Madame goes first, she strips them all. Then I get a little turn with this guy, so what I'll do is I shall provoke Trunda, just in case things do go wrong and he's provoked, and then slam. Kytis hits so hard, so unbelievably hard, it's ridiculous. That is one guy I have to admit I slept on. He's really cool. So that is the team, guys. So let's get into it and show you how it works. So the main part of the strategy comes from Cardinal. So Cardinal is the backbone of this team. The only two champions you need to make the strategy work, which is really cool as well, the fact they only need two, is Cardinal and a big nuker. So the nuker could be a couple of things. The nuker could be an AoE nuker, or it could be a couple of single target nukers to sort of pick off who you want. I am going to be running a strategy fairly soon once I pull my second Shamail, I don't know how you say it. He's really strong. He blasts people out in one shot, pretty much anyone. So I'm trying to work on a strategy where I could have two of him and a buffer to give him 3 buffs up, and then I could sort of pick off two of the most problem champions. But the most effective strategy is just to blast them out with a big nuker. So Cardinal here, she is in immunity set. That is a must. She must be used in immunity set. So this is a high-end build, guys, I'm not going to lie. This is to be used in sort of Platinum Arena and stuff to get you high in the rankings, and it's not going to be an easy one to build. But let's go through our stats quickly first. She's running at 70k HP, 3.7k defense, 1.9 attack, doesn't matter, 255 speed is good, and 161 resistance. So the things I need to glyph up a little bit, I need her to get to 261 speed, and I need her to get to roughly about sort of 180, 190 resistance, which through Great Hall and some glyphs, I should be able to get that no problem. So the reason you need a little bit more resistance is for Trunda hits. So when Trunda does come and slam you, a lot of the times Madame will strip you first, and then even though Trunda does have very low accuracy a lot of the time, even if it's, you know, if at 160, there is the odd occasion where I still get stunned, which is really annoying, and it screws up the whole comp. So I think about 180, 190, 200 resist would be perfect. Obviously could get a better piece of gear as well. 255 speed is good. Now I know in a lot of the other videos, people had said sort of between 240 and 250 is optimal, but what I have found is there are some really fast Lysandras out there, and there's a couple of teams where Lysandra will cut in afterwards and she'll actually lower the turn meter. So you need to be, I worked it out, it's about sort of 260 plus speed to really outrun the fastest Lysandras in the game and make sure you're going at that specific time. But 255 speed is pretty much good against every single team apart from a very small handful. In terms of survivability is the main thing though. She needs to survive those hits. You just seen her survive like Trunda's main hit with defense down, which is pretty insane. A lot of that was to do with the other champions I had placed in the team, but 70k HP is a must. I could do with getting this much higher. So I've got some Great Hall work to do and I've got some glyphs to put on and stuff. A little bit better gear is needed, but 70k is doing it. But really, I could do with about 75, 80k to really make sure, because there's a couple of Trundas out there, especially at the top level of Platinum, that I can't seem to survive. But I'm saying like that, there's like 1 or 2 maybe that I've found so far, so that's pretty good. 3.7k defense is fine. I could probably get away with 3.5 if I get this up to about 75, 80k. The reason being is that most of these damage dealing champions are going to be running Helm Smasher and Savage, so they're going to be ignoring insane amounts of defense anyway. So the more survivability you have into HP these days seems to be the kind of meta just now. More HP equals more survivability, just because everyone's ignoring so much defense. It's ridiculous. But yeah, 3.7 and 69, she is surviving a lot. Attack doesn't matter, she's not in to do damage. Don't worry about crit rate, crit damage, or accuracy. Any of that stuff doesn't matter. It's just you want that speed, ideally over 240, so that will basically mean that you'll be able to res up your champions if 3 of them die, no problem at all. But even if 2 of them die, you're still pretty safe. Because a lot of the time, maybe only 2 of those champions will die and she'll actually be able to use her res. If you're definitely getting the 3 of them every single time, you can actually have her quite a bit lower. I think the threshold is about maybe 190, 200 speed. But to be honest, just to be safe, I would try and get her to 240 if you can, if your gear will let you do it. I mean, I don't have the most amazing gear on her ever. Let's have a look. So I've got a pretty... Yeah, I've got a double speed roll in here. I don't have any triples. I've got a single speed roll on the helmet. I've got a single speed roll. Yeah, so I don't have that much good gear on her, really. Double speed roll in here. Single speed roll on here, and obviously speed boots. Yes, I really could definitely get some better gear on her, definitely. But I had to go for survivability too, so I had to think of that. So obviously this piece here had the double HP roll and defense. This piece had HP and HP, which was good. Speed's what we need. Double HP roll on here. HP chest piece with defense roll. This is not the best, but it's got defense on here. Could have done with a little bit better gloves, but the 17 speed really helped. And obviously on the ring, amulet, and here you just want a mix of defense and HP. More HP if you can. Ideally HP on the banner because you get a big boost of 5,000 there. And yeah, looking for a bit of resistance on here if you could. If I could get like an epic or legendary piece with a double or triple resistance on here would be really, really cool. But you get the idea. This is what you're looking for. So she's got to survive that first initial hit. So our masteries are the next most important, if not the most important part of her build. So you really need to bring her down to here, which is timely intervention. So this increases this champion's turn meter by 20% whenever an ally drops below 25% HP. So originally, like I say, it was built for MUCHHHs. She's decent enough speed as it is. If MUCHHHG came in, wiped up the whole team bar her, that would increase her turn meter by 60%, sorry. And if she's 250 speed, 60% on top of that is going to outrun everyone. So she's going to take a turn next, res the whole team up to full turn meter, and then suddenly cut in and do all the damage. So that is the idea of the team. Cycle of Revenge also helps because it has a 50% chance of increasing the turn meter again by 15% when attacked with a critical. So that's another good one. Again, good for hedges. Like I said though, the meta's kind of shifted and a lot of the CC hedges are only running, well when I say CC hedges, they're running at maybe sort of 50-60% crit rate hedges right now just to get around stuff like this. It also gets around Seeker's ability where he puts up a defense buff if hit with a critical hit too, so you've got to kind of work with the meta that you've got. And then the rest of the stuff I just went as much survivability, so tough skin, blast proof obviously was really useful, and some more HP. HP increases the value of heals because she does have a heal on her A2, which I'll show you in a second. Lore of Steel to get some more stuff out of her gear, and lasting gift as well is actually fairly useful. Spirit Haste, yeah, Spirit Haste increases speed by 8 for each dead ally. So again, that's just giving her more chances to take turns round. Because there is the odd occasion where maybe it's just failed for whatever reason, but she's got a 5-turn cooldown on her A3, and you can just boost round quicker for having all these masteries on. So like I say, our A1 is completely null and void for this. I've not even booked it up completely. It's just putting poisons on. It doesn't matter at all. It's not going to hit. This is what she's all about on a 5-turn cooldown. But Mending Touch is actually really useful. It heals and puts an increased defense buff. So if it's maybe the fact that you've faced the CC Hegi and he's not killed all your team and she's taken a go, she can just put a defense buff on her and give her some health back if she's taken any damage, and then she can hopefully wait till the next round when all your champions die, and then she can do her redemption skill. So like I say, immunity and obviously divine speed is really good because it gives her that extra bit of shield. So that's another little bonus to survivability there. Now, the next part of this team this is the only thing you really need to do is have a nuker. Like I say, you can use this team with single target nukes, but I would highly recommend it with a nuker. And to be honest, if you're going for things like Platinum Arena and stuff, there's only 2 options in the game for me right now. One is Trunda and the other is this guy, Kytis. And I would highly recommend Kytis over everyone. He is such a monster for this role. He is really, really strong. He actually has the highest multipliers in the game for damage if you can get his skill unlocked. So let's look at this skill. It's called Bleeding Wounds. It attacks all enemies 2 times. Damage increases according to the amount of HP this champion has lost. It's a secret skill and it only becomes available when he's lost 50% of his HP. So ordinarily he's not that great because this is quite hard to get, but he just works so well with Cardinal because obviously Cardinal's A3 revives him with 25% of his HP. So he's here and he's getting a massive increase from losing all that HP, and the skill also becomes available because of that. He's also got an aura which I use quite a bit, HP in arena battles by 33%, which is super handy, as I will explain in the video in a little bit. His A2 slams as well, actually, to be honest, so if you don't for whatever reason kill them, the A2 will kill everything else. Can't actually remember ever using his A1. He's either dead or killed him by that point, so I'd imagine it probably hits fairly hard with the gear I've got on him, but you're not looking to use it. So onto his gear, I've got him in Cruel and Savage gear. That is what you're going for. You're wanting this guy to just slam as hard as possible, and it's a really cool build to make this because you don't have to worry about any speed, any accuracy, anything else apart from attack, crit rate and crit damage. That is it. You actually actively want the HP and the defense lower. So my HP and defense is actually too high, to be honest. I could do with getting the defense down a little bit. But at the moment in Savage and Cruel gear, I've got him running at 5.45k attack. Defense, like I say, HP is fine. Defense I could get down to below 2k would be really useful. 106 speed doesn't matter, doesn't make a difference. 100% crit rate you need, and as much crit damage as you can get. I should be able to get him up to about 250, 260 once I do my Great Hall. Or no, I'm talking rubbish. I'll be able to get another 4% out of my Great Hall, so I'll get him up to 248. So that should be good. And yeah, like I say, the other stats don't matter, but honestly, this guy absolutely slams at this. When I say Savage gear, so I don't have my best gear on him. I've got better gear on like my ethos and things like that, so I could get this guy higher, but I don't really need to. He's doing absolutely fine as he is. So he's got this piece here, attack and crit rate, double resistance I don't really need. It's got a fairly average sort of chest piece, but it's got some crit rate and it's attack, which is what we need. It's decent crit damage gauntlets on, a decent enough helmet, and then he's actually only got a 5-star piece here, but it's got triple crit rate, which is why I needed it. And he's got some really good boots with triple crit rate and attack on it. So the good thing about not having any speed is you can blast your attack boots on without having to use speed boots. It means you can get a lot more damage, and then obviously on these pieces as much attack as you can. So attack with a double attack and max here. We've got crit damage on this one, and we've got attack with a double attack here. So that's what you're looking for. So in terms of his masteries, you definitely need Helm Smasher. That is what you want out of your damage dealers. The best in the game for these sort of things. And then you need things like, obviously you need crit rate and crit damage, but Shield Breaker, if they do have any shields left, most of the time you will strip them, but there's the odd occasion where you don't, so you will need that. You need Ruthless Ambush, inflicts damage by 8% on the first hit on each enemy, so that's really good. You can get more damage out of Bring It Down, attacking targets with higher max HP, because you actively want his HP and defense low in this composition. This one's, I think this actually works on his second hit, so if he doesn't kill someone in his first hit, he's going to get an increase in his second one. This one, Opportunist, I was running him alongside Kymar in the build sometimes, so I tried this out just to get that other 12% if I was able to sleep them all, which was a strip and sleep. And Stoke to Fury as well. The reason I do this is because I run him quite a lot with Gurptuk. Gurptuk is insane for this team. I know no one's really been using them, so this is what I'm going to kind of separate myself out with this video from the rest, is I've got a good arsenal of champions to the side that I use to bring in against certain teams. And then you want to go down the defense tree here. You don't want defense in this build, but you need one mastery to make this work, and that is Selfless Defender. So apart from Cardinal, every other champion that you're putting in here must have Selfless Defender, and that's just going to mitigate more damage off the Cardinal and let you survive things like Trunda hits. So ordinarily, before this was built purely for things like Hegemon teams, the way I've built it, I need them to survive every single AoE champion in the game. And Trunda is the biggest hit in AoE right now, so that's what we have to work towards. So Selfless Defender's a much, and it also makes sure he's going to die quicker as well. I've got Solidarity here, but all this stuff is just to get to this point, and a little bit of res. Don't put Tough Skin on him because you don't want him to survive. Unfortunately, you do need to book this guy to get the real maximum damage, because he actually gets 30% more damage from books here, and it does make a massive difference. So if you can book him, you really need to do this. Like I say, Trunda works just as well, but you will need to rebuild your Trunda without any speed and put attack boots on her and make sure she's not survivable at all. So the other champion I suppose that I use a lot in this team, I sub in champions in and out, but most of the time I'm using Madame as well. So I've got another Madame built up here from my main Madame, and she is running a little differently. So I don't run her in any ring at all because I don't want her to survive, and that would have made her a bit too tough. So I've managed to get her to 45k HP is the lowest I could get it to just now with this gear. 2k defense, but the idea is I'm wanting 761 accuracy, and that's pretty much unglyphed. Well, it's not unglyphed, but I've not glyphed any good ones on it yet, so I could get this up to about 800, which is more than enough to take down anything in the game in terms of buff wise. So that's kind of what you're looking for. 3-piece perception set on her. I've not even leveled up, I've not leveled these up anymore because I don't want any more HP, so I've got a double accuracy roll. What I'm hoping for is one day to get a speed boots in perception with like a double or triple accuracy roll, and that would be the dream, because then she would lose a bunch of HP here, gain some speed, and she'd be really, really useful. But basically, looking at accuracy on the chest piece, I've got triple accuracy here, triple accuracy, and triple accuracy. So I've got some insane rolls in perception, so that is pretty nuts. I've got a double accuracy here, and then obviously accuracy banner. You're just wanting her purely for the strip. That is all you need. So as much accuracy as you can stack. Anything over 750 is going to do the job on pretty much everyone in the game. I don't think I've found many people I can't strip with this. There is the odd one, but once I get her glyphed up, like I say, I think this one that's got a 10 on it. That's only got a 6 here. That's only got a 5. So I could potentially get another 20 out of that. I could get a lot more accuracy out of this, so it's definitely doable. But again, if you have the resources to do it, it's really handy to just rebuild a second, well, not rebuild, just build a second Madame for this comp, and make sure you build her with Selfless Defender, because again, that's really going to help. You need to go down the support tree with her as well to get accuracy, but to be honest, any Madame build should have Eagle Eye on it. So just briefly, some of the other guys that I do sub in Gurped Up quite a lot. He's really useful. As you can see, this is the build I've got him in here. Again, no ring. I don't want him to survive, and you don't get accuracy out of a ring. The only thing I've got him in here for is Cloud of Spores. So this basically puts block buffs on, but it's a place ability. Someone like the new champion, what's her name? I think it's Ugo. If I can find Ugo. There's Ugo here. So this Ogren girl, I don't know if it's a girl, I think it is a girl, yeah, it's a girl. She does actually put block buffs down as well, but it's a chance of placing block buffs increases by 5% for each alive enemy, so it's not quite as strong as Gurptuk's. Gurptuk just literally places it on, but the bonus about him is he also puts these poisons on, and if you remember with my Kytis, I actually put the Mastery on to make him deal even more damage if he has poisons up. Now, the main reason I'm doing this is because there's so many champions right now wearing Swift Parry gear, and this just totally null and void Swift Parry gear, because a lot of the time, if you do your res, you res all your guys up, you strip them, you blast them out with Kytis, but a couple of them proc their swift parry, it's pretty much game over, especially if one of them is a Duchess, which happens a lot. There's so many Duchess out there in swift parry, because she'll just survive, put unkillable on, then res the whole team, start healing, yeah, it just makes it a nightmare. So this just totally destroys that strategy, and it really gives you that peace of mind that you can kill anything. So that's why I use him. Again, with his Masteries, you're just looking for Eagle Eye and Selfless Defender on this guy. My artifacts, like say, I've got an 8-piece and 8-piece there. The only reason I've only put these to 8 is because I got double accuracy. Single accuracy there, unfortunately, double accuracy, but I don't want any more HP. Actually, I would take more crit rate, so I could probably just boost that one up, but he's never dealing damage anyway, so there's no point. Literally, all I'm looking for is as much accuracy as possible with this build again, so that's him there. And again, I've got a Seeker built out purely for his passive here. Heals his champion by 20% and places an increased defense buff on all allies when hit with a critical hit. So I'll explain how that works in a minute, but that is really, really strong to keeping us alive in certain situations against the kind of higher end Trundas. Masteries again, Selfless Defender, same down here, then just loads of offense. He can do a little bit of damage in the build I've put him in here. I've just purely gone for attack and everything like that, so he's got low defense, low HP. This is not good gear. I could optimize this, but he's only in there to do one job, so his stats don't matter, his gear doesn't matter. As long as he's got very little HP and defense, that is all he needs. Over 200 accuracy or something is fairly useful, because he could provoke a Trunda that could ordinarily be a little bit annoying, because Kytis is weak affinity to Trunda, and sometimes that can be a bit of a problem. Or he could also provoke someone that's going to swift parry, but again, if you put Garptuck in there, it's no issue. There is a few other champions I do use. One that's probably fairly surprising to people, I actually use Astralis sometimes. Astrolith has this A2, which is great for taking down things like a really, really tough Duchess that's not in swift parry, but it's only in the odd occasion I will use her. So I think we'll just go into a few games with the team, and it will be easier to kind of just show you how all the different champions slot into the team depending on who we're facing. That is the deciding factor, who we are going to be facing in the arena. Right, we've come back in. We've actually been demoted back to Gold 4 in the short time we've been away making this part of the video, but that's because I've got my one-man defense still up. But what we'll do is we'll jump back in, and we've been looking around. Here's a team at the bottom I think we'll go for. Because he has a Trunda in here, this looks really likely to be a CC Hegemon, so I think we'll jump in with the defense-based team. That way we can survive this Trunda hit. So let's go in. So the way the defense-based team works is we're going to have Kytis for lead, and we've got the second place position being Seeker. So the way that turn order works in Arena or in any part of the game is this champion's first, then it's here, then it's here, then it's here. So this is the way sort of abilities land. So the only thing this really affects is his passive here. So what he does is he puts the increased defense buff on all allies when he's hit with a critical hit. So if he's hit here, that means he'll put an increased defense buff on Cardinal and also on Madame on the hit that actually hits first. So that very first hit from Trunda is going to trigger that to make sure that these two mitigate most of the damage, whereas Kytis won't. If I was to put Cardinal in the top spot here and have him sitting here, then Cardinal wouldn't get the benefit of the damage mitigation. Also, if I was to put him over here, then she would die as well. But because I put him in this position here, she survives. Now what I could do is I could switch him to here, and he actually gives 30% extra defense. But like I said at the start of the video, HP just now seems to be way better at surviving than defense is. So she's going to be ignoring a ton of defense, definitely in Savage Gear, definitely got Helm Smasher. So if I run it like this, I can guarantee she'll die. But if I switch this around, let's have a look. Unless she's like the most insane Trunda, which I don't think she is, I'm pretty much 100% positive we will survive this one. So let's put it on to 1. So, yep, it was a CC Hedgie. Okay, we've been hit there, and then let's see how much damage Trunda does. Okay, perfect, that's exactly what we want. So Trunda's taken our shot, and we have survived it. So now it's just a case of doing this. And then obviously she's got 760 accuracy, she's going to strip all these guys easy. We're going to put attack up. So that's the other great thing about Seeker, is he puts attack up too. Not that you really need it with Kytis because he's insane, but we will provoke or just kill Trunda. I suppose that's good. and then Kytis will just blast him out. That was 120, 130k hits on the first hit, and he's got another hit after that. So there's very little that's going to survive that. So let's have a switch about the team here. This team, I don't think we will need all that damage mitigation from, so we will keep in Kytis, obviously, and we can put Cardinal in the top spot now. I don't think there's a Skull Crown that's going to be able to do that much damage to us. But just in case they have any swift parry on, what we'll do is we will try out Mossbeard here. So let's put Mossbeard into play and run it. So we're taking some hits here, and let's see how much damage. Oh, so I have actually taken a turn. So all we do in this situation, like I said before, is use the A2 on herself, give her defense up, and look, bam, all our champions have died, and look how much our turn meter increased. So we get back around to having a turn now. So let's res these guys up. Now, one other thing that I suppose that I didn't mention before that is important, speed doesn't matter, but it's important that you speed tune the champions that come up. So Madame's the fastest, then you want Kytis the slowest. As long as Madame's the fastest, she will strip first. She doesn't need to be fast, she could be like 106 speed, as long as Kytis is below 106 speed. And then Gurptuk's my second fastest, so he will do this. Block buffs up, so if any of these guys have swift parry, they won't survive. But it's also very, very good against the Skull Crown. So Skull Crown has the natural ability of basically swift parry built into her kit, where she'll just survive. So with an unkillable, if you get her down to 1% health. So this will blast them all out in a winner, and you don't have to worry about those pesky swift parries or Skull Crowns. So here we go down at the bottom here, we've got another Trunda team. So this will be a case of pulling this guy into this position, putting him in there, and putting our Cardinal in that position. And that should let us survive this one. We got a decreased speed on, remove buff. Well, that was a strong Trunda, really strong Trunda, but we survived it. And then we just go through the motions again. Strip, increase up, provoke, and boom, 120, 130k. Crazy amount of damage he does, so much. It's really, really satisfying to kill people with him. Right, we're having a look through for, here we go. So we've got Trunda and here's Lydia. So here's a Lydia team. This is what we're looking for. So this is actually the strategy that Murder Inc. posted up. I think it was one of his guys that found this out. It's definitely a really, really good strategy against Lydia, because Lydia has this annoying passive here where basically whenever a champion is revived, it blocks the revive, which totally screws her up. But what we do is we take out him and we actually put in Krutraxa is the best champion for this. So I've got a Krutraxa built up with pretty decent stats. She's like 100% crit rate, 300% crit damage, 5.6k attack. So she can deal some damage herself. But she's got this passive where she places the revive on death on her at the start of each round. So that means that will trigger the initial block revive, and then the next revive from Cardinal will go through absolutely fine. The other good thing about her actually is she's got an increased attack aura in all battles by 24%. So again, that's just boosting up more damage to Kytis, which is fairly useful because Lydia seems to run alongside things like Duchess quite a lot, and Duchess has that AoE mitigation. So this is another thing. This will let you see how much damage Kytis does, because he should be able to wipe out this team even though he's getting the damage mitigation from Duchess. What we do need to do in a composition like this though is we do need to survive Trunda. So what I will do is I'll switch Kytis into the lead just to get the extra HP. I don't think, yeah, I'm pretty positive we won't need Seeker in this situation because there's no strip happening here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we'll be fine, and we've got immunity on, so if Lydia is crazy fast then she's going to be trying to put the defense down and weaken, but it will not hit on our Cardinal. So let's go ahead with this team and see if we do it. So coming in, tries to do it, doesn't work against Cardinal. Great, perfect, and then blocks the revive. She takes an extra turn there, absolutely perfect, works just as we expected. So revive the full team. Then we've got the good thing is if you're facing Duchess as well, you can pretty much just target her with Krutraxa just to get her damage or health down, or just kill her outright like this. Ooh, so that's one thing. If she had a swift parry on there, I'd have had to switch this team about and try and come in with Gurptuk, which would have made it a bit more difficult. Strip here, and Kytis, let's see how much damage. Boom. Oh, so we didn't actually kill the Trunda there, so we got a couple of weak hits there, unfortunately, which is a little bit of a problem. I'm going to try and help my... might struggle here. No, I'm going to get a turn here. It's fine. It's no problem. There we go. That was just unfortunate. Occasionally you do get weak hits with Kytis on Trunda, but these things happen. One thing I should say though, don't fight Torments. Torments are a pain. So teams like this, when a Cardinal does res your Kytis or your nuker as such, there's a good chance of them getting frozen, which just screws up the whole composition. So I just avoid any Torments and it makes life a lot easier. And moving down as well, the only other champion that you really don't want to face is this one here, Ray. Ray is a bit of a nightmare for this team. I've been trying to think of ways to get around her, but it's pretty difficult. The biggest problem is this ability here. It removes all buffs and has a good chance of placing a freeze on them. So that pretty much destroys the immunity gear on Cardinal. So Ray is a big problem. So out of basically every single team in Arena and Raid has a flaw. And this one, you cannot face Torments, and I wouldn't face Rays either. So that is its flaw, but it's a pretty solid spec against everything else. Here's a 100 player score guy. This looks insanely tough. Yep, this is going to be super tough. Hopefully, what I'm actually going to do in a team like this is you don't need the damage mitigation. So I'm going to take this out, and I'm actually going to put Katraxa in, and I'm going to put Kytis back in here. What we're looking to do here is, because Candraphon has a A2 that gives an extra attack after it kills an enemy. So what he would do, potentially, if he killed the whole team, he would probably come up with his A1 and then just kill your Cardinal as well. But what we're looking to do here is have Katraxa revive, then he'll just target the revived Katraxa and then kill that, and that will give us time to get the Cardinal to res everyone. It's just going to be interesting to see if we can actually beat this team, and I'm pretty sure one of these guys will maybe have like a swift parry set on, so we might have to come back in and do it with Gurp Tuck, but let's see how we get on with this. So we're faster than them. This is a tanky team, so we're just going to straight away put on the increased defense. Yep, that happened. See, revives, and exactly what I thought would happen happened. Perfect. So that's exactly what we need. Let's revive. Really what I need to do, I haven't actually speed tuned my Katraxa yet, so I should have her slower than Madame, so that is a mistake, but we'll do this right now. Because that way, if it did proc Swift Parry, right, let's see if we can strip them all. Yep, that's a good thing about having such a high accuracy Madame. It's easy to strip. And let's see if I can actually kill all these people. Whoa! Oh god, he does so much damage there. I wasn't even looking at the amount, but that is a tough-ass team to just nuke in one shot. So that shows you the power of Kytis. He is nuts, people. He is legitimate. The best nuker in the game. Situational nuker in the game, you should say. Not the best nuker. The best situational nuker in the game. The other good thing about this team, just looking here, is Rotos as well. Because he's a double hitter, he's very, very good for killing Rotos. Even though Rotos is weak affinity, so the weak hits do make a difference. He's similar to Trunda, but most of the time Rotos is fairly weak, and if you don't hit the weak hits, he's pretty easy to get rid of. Rotos is also kind of falling out the meta a little bit just now, so he's not in as much of the teams. So let's just do a couple more fights. We've got another Lydia here, and this time we've got a Siphi in. So we'll try so we've already got the team set up pretty much for doing this. What we'll do, because there's a Trunda though, we shall put him in this spot just to get that extra bit of HP, and let's go ahead with this team now. So Siphi's doing her thing. And then Trunda blows us all up, denies the revive. She always gets in that A2 there, and we can just go about our business. So again, I need to sort this, but try and take out some of Siphi's health, because she's probably one of the toughest. Some of Arbiter's health, they're the two problems. Strip the buffs, and boom, we got one weak hit, but the second wasn't weak, so that's great. Destroyed that team. As you can see, you can do some serious work with this team. I guess another problem down here as well is Foley. I forgot to mention him. So if they've got a really good Foley, it's a massive problem. Foley basically means you can't resurrect your champions once he's killed them. So Foley's another one you avoid. Teams like this up here are quite interesting because they don't actually have that AoE. You're really looking for teams that have the AoE damage in there. So this is all single target damage, and sometimes Rotos and Mountain King will just attack the Cardinal. So yeah, it's a little bit dodgy, that one. But I've won more of these fights than I've lost, put it that way. So just scrolling through, I think we have actually found a nuke-hedgy team by the looks of it up here. So let's try the original strategy of nuke-hedgy with the Cardinal, with the Kratraxa in this spot here, and he's got a Lydia, so we need the Kratraxa in. Right, hopefully this is a nuke-hedgy. It looks like one anyway. Okay, perfect, it was a nuke-hedgy. And we've already triggered the revive from Lydia, so now it's just a case of bring them all back up. Now, yeah, I really need to sort out this speed, because this could have been really good trying to get this damage down. She's quite a tough Duchess by the looks of it. Strip, and boom, blows them all up. Easy done, easy done. So that is the nuke-hedgy, that's the original strategy it beats. Right, looking at this team here, this looks like the sort of team that would have like a swift parry set on. This might be quite a difficult one actually, because it's like crazy high resist as well. Ideally we'd want Gurp Tuck in here. It's a difficult one though, because I think we'll probably need Kratraxa to revive to tank the second hit here. No, let's go ahead, we'll move Kytis into here, we'll put Gurp Tuck in here and see what happens anyway. Okay, Siffi's going to do her thing, and we're looking to increase defense here. He's probably going to use the A3 now. Perfect. Okay, that worked absolutely fine. Because she was able to put her A2 up and get increased defense, he decided rather than attack her because he couldn't kill her, he would put his A3 on. So that gives us a chance to do this. And strip. Perfect. And then block buffs. Unfortunately, the block buffs didn't land on the Duchess, so 650 accuracy wasn't enough to get on this Duchess. But hopefully she doesn't proc. It doesn't proc, so that was a bit lucky. I don't know if she had Swift Parry on, but that just shows you really I could do with getting my Gurp Tuck up to about 700 plus accuracy to guarantee those Swift Parries get blocked. So the only champion I haven't actually used just now that I potentially do bring in from time to time was Astrolith. I've got Astrolith built again at about 100 speed, crazy high attack. She's just for her A2 because she puts bombs on that can't be resisted, which can be pretty useful against a non-swift parry, insanely tanky Duchess, which is just impossible to get through otherwise because the bombs will just do damage based on her max health. So if she takes a bunch of damage, she's got some health left, she's going to get blown up by the bombs anyway. So she's the only other person I potentially would sub in, but you've seen most of the guys. It's between Gurp Tuck, Seeker, Kratraxa. That's my kind of go-to people for doing this composition. But yeah, that's it guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe to the channel as always. It really helps me out. I want to do a lot more videos like this in the coming future. I think a lot of the arena stuff's quite fun, and I like the way the meta shifts. It reminds me of Magic the Gathering when I used to play that a lot. So yeah, I think that's what I'm going to be focusing on. If you would like me to do that, please leave it in the comments below. If you want me to focus on other stuff, please leave that as well. I will definitely be doing other stuff as well, because this content doesn't relate to everyone in the game. It only relates to a small minority of people, but it's what I enjoy, and I always feel it's better to do content about stuff that you enjoy rather than what people want, because at the end of the day, you have to enjoy doing it. So yeah, that's it guys. Hope you have a great day. Peace.